Hello everybody, and welcome back into another video. I'm FranklinTurtz, and I'm your internet turtle. Now that the Destiny crossover event in For Honor is completed, I wanted to go over some of my opinions on it, some of the pros, cons, that kind of thing. I figured it'd be a little more productive than heading over to For Honor rants and just typing out a bunch of gobbledygook about what exactly I think about this whole thing. But yeah, we're just gonna get right on into it. So before I get into the actual ranty point of the video, I did want to just, state a few things first off. I am a pretty positive person regarding For Honor. I've always been very positive about the game. I really enjoy the game. I really enjoy the mechanics. I do love it wholeheartedly. But at my core, I am a realist. And at the end of the day, I don't really want to wear rose-tinted glasses and just say that every single thing that the devs put out is amazingly good. And, I don't want to be a simp, essentially. I want to make sure that I have a critical eye for everything that they do. And that's kind of one of the main points of this video. I'm also not really much of a Destiny fan at all. I have tried it over the years, like maybe 3-ish times, but it's not really something I could stick to. I kind of figured to myself I'm not really much of a looter shooter style gamer, I guess, so I'm not really going into this. Obviously, Destiny fans are going to have a pretty different opinion on this most of the time, as far as this crossover is concerned, rather than me, but it is what it is. I tried it, wasn't the biggest fan of it, but we're all gonna have our different tastes in video gaming. I'm also 1,000 bazillion jillion trillion percent more in favor of more collabs with For Honor. I do think collabs have a net benefit, a net positive, to bring in a lot of more potential players from other fan bases to at least try For Honor for the first time, if not retrying it after uninstalling it after some sort of rage fest that they had where they threw the controller at the wall. And I do love having any sort of new content in the game. Obviously, all new content is technically good content because it's something new to do at the very least. Okay, so now we move into the main rant, the main complaints that I have here. I've got two main complaints and then a few sidebar things that we'll go over. But here we go. Okay. The first big one that I have is that this could have been a collab at any point in time. Why now? Why was this the Halloween event instead of like an actual Halloween, an actual spooky event? I get that they had, smoke around the battlefield or mist around the battlefield, whatever you want to call it, fog. And then they had the minions be the zombie things. Again, I'm not a Destiny player, so I'm not going to remember all the names and stuff. But other than that stuff, there wasn't really anything quote-unquote spooky or Halloweeny about this at all. And so I'm wondering why they decided to make it the Halloween event, like the Halloween event, the known thing that they do every single year, instead of like a more actual Halloween spooky style event. Just to springboard off of that, I've discussed this with people as well in the community. This was a Viking season. This was a widely promoted Viking season. We all knew, that's why we got the Gudmundur hero skin. That's why we had the Viking lore, stuff like that. If they were going to keep with that theme, why did they bring in a collab with a sci-fi looter shooter? It doesn't really speak Viking to me. What they could have done, again, I've been talking with multiple people about this. What they could have done is some sort of like Helheim Valhalla event fight, where you're like fighting Draugrs and something with Gudmundur, where you can go in and you could have him as an ally, kind of like what they did with the I think it's Yorogumo event. I think I'm saying that right. Kind of like how you were escorting the samurai hero in that. They could have done something similar with that with Gudmundur, where you're in Valhalla, you're in Helheim, whatever Viking Nordic, afterlife sort of thing that you can go to, and you're just fighting through Draugr. The Draugr would be really creepy. They could revive, stuff like that. You could have a boss at the end. I think that would have been really, really cool. It would have been much more on brand, much more on theme, especially with the Viking season that they have right now. And it would have felt just more authentic compared to, just throwing in a Destiny event. I don't know. It just seems like it missed the mark. It was kind of ill-timed. Just to springboard off of that, Valkyrie is someone who hasn't really had a ton of love. She's had some executions, but she's had no hero skin. She's had not really any updates to her kit in a while. To be fair, a lot of people were kind of expecting, especially with the Viking season, and hearing more about hero skins and whatnot, maybe we could have had a Valkyrie hero skin where she looks like an actual Valkyrie, like from Valhalla, with like full wings or something. I don't know. Like, you could have had something so much cooler here that would fit much more and be much more in line with this Viking season, and just making it so drastically different from what people were expecting. Like, it's still cool. Like, on its face, it's cool to have another big name game in For Honor. Especially because, you know, again, like I said in the beginning of the video, like, it definitely brings a little more recognition to the game. It brings more players into the game, potentially. Like, any collab's a cool collab, right? But it's just, I feel like they could have really stuck to their guns more, stuck to their base more, and it would have brought even more people, because not only are you bringing people like back for an event to grind stuff for, but you also could have brought new people in where they see this new event and they're like, oh shit, this looks really, really cool. And it's still For Honor, but it's For Honor with like a special twist, you know, instead of just Destiny thrown into the For Honor mixing pot. Another thing I complain about is the overpriced hero skins. I say over twice because a lot of the hero skins, actually all the hero skins, are overpriced. They are more than getting a new hero, and that's really annoying. But these are even more than those hero skins. I believe that the breakdown for it was 31,500 steel if you got one of them. There was no bundle, I don't think, for steel, which would also, you know, just be ludicrous, obviously, for grinding purposes. But there was a bundle for money purposes. You could buy each one separately for $15, but if you got the bundle, that was $25, and you would get both of the hero skins, and then I think maybe some like little extra stuff as well. Seeing those prices was like, when they told us about it in the Warriors Den, I was like laughing my ass off, because those hero skins, even with the bundle, the base game is $30 right now on Steam. I don't know what it is on console. I haven't looked on console because I'm lazy. But on Steam, it's $30. On Steam, even until I believe the 28th, the game was on sale. It was like 80-something% off for like $5. By the way, any new people out there, if you didn't get this game for $5, despite all the craziness, all the toxicity people have talked about, this game is definitely worth it for $5. I'm telling you right now, so you missed out if you didn't get it then. But anyway, the base game being $30 and the bundle here being for, you know, arguably $5 less, and that's it from the actual full game, is insane to me. Absolutely insane. And it really kind of just makes me wonder, like, is this now for money? Like, I understand, you know, I get it. UB stocks are kind of in the pooper right now. They haven't exactly been in a great spot lately, so I understand that they want to try to, you know, make money from wherever they can, but this really kind of flies in the face of common sense when you're going to make these skins basically equivalent, even if you're not getting the bundle. If you're just getting one and then getting another one later, since they're not time gated or anything, which is nice. By the way, it is nice that there's no like FOMO essentially where you're going to miss out on the skins. You could buy them at any time, but still doesn't like get over the price issue. The fact that you can get these skins if they're, you know, separate for $30 full, if you get both of them at different times at exactly the same price, the base game, and then the bundle's only the $5 less, it doesn't really bring a good value to what it's doing, you know. Like, at most, I would probably put, like, if I wanted to pay for them, I would say maybe bundle for 15, and then each of them for 10 each. Like, I feel like that's a lot more reasonable than 30 for both, and then the bundle for 25. I don't know, it kind of plays into this whole mantra that I'm kind of thinking in my head, where I don't think the devs necessarily maybe chose to do this. Maybe it was someone higher up in UB that was like, look guys, we gotta make more money, and so what we're gonna do, I know you guys had some sort of Halloween event planned, like actual Halloween event, but we need more money, and so we're just gonna swap that out with Destiny as a crossover, and then all the Destiny players are gonna come in and buy, you know, the skins, and we're gonna make oodles of cash, and they think that's gonna somehow, you know, go over super well to everybody in the player base. I don't think it will. Again, like, I'm not trying to hate, I'm just trying to kind of speak facts here and, you know, read the writing on the wall, kind of, so to speak. And then we're going to go into the actual event here. I think I played about like maybe 3 matches of it. Overall, my opinion on it is that it's fun in moderation. Like a lot of the events that they've done, especially the Halloween events, they're fun in moderation. I'm not going to be playing them, you know, and I feel like, you know, 99% of the player base, they're not going to be playing the event modes, you know, day in, day out, grinding them for hours on hours. Like, you'll go in, you'll play a few matches, and then you're probably good to go. To be honest, like, it does get old eventually, like a lot of them do. A lot of these events are kind of reminiscent of prior events. They get it, and we get it. We kind of all understand that Dominion is the game mode in For Honor. You know, it's what most people play when they load up the game each day. So I get why a lot of their events, like Assassin's Creed events, Wyverndale, this event, are basically just Dominion with a boss battle or boss battles in them. Like, I get it. It makes sense. But I really would like, you know, more tribute-style events, more deathmatch-style events, or, you know, stuff like that. Something more varied, you know? I don't want the same thing reskinned each and every time they do an event. It would be nice to have a little more variety with that kind of stuff. As far as the actual boss, reads inputs like crazy, so you have to either just feint everything you're doing most of the time, or just get lucky with your unblockables. From my experience in the 3 games that I played, the guy was dodging everything like crazy, you know, reading most of what I was going to do. Was pretty easy to parry, I will say that. So defensively speaking, if you're more defensively inclined, he was pretty easy to take down for the most part. It just took for a while as well, because he had a shit ton of health, and then obviously, you know, the enemy team wouldn't let you get it for free, so you're gonna have to be fighting them off as well. But it does also, you know, again, like a lot of these events, it does get pretty fast and steamrolly, depending on, you know, how fast each team is going to take out the Baron. I believe the Baron was worth like 700 points or something, which is, it's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. You take out the Baron and you're basically like halfway done with the game, if not more, if you're taking some points and watching your points well. But yeah, the overall event, I would just say, is like, it's decent, it's good, it's not blowing anybody away, but it's playable, and it's fun in moderation, is probably the best way I can describe it. And also the actual look of it, like the look and feel of it, it is quite cool. The last point I had to make is just that, you know, and I kind of made this earlier in the video, but overall the whole sci-fi shooter feel of Destiny, at least in my opinion, doesn't really fit with For Honor. Obviously, again, you know, this is a lesser issue. Any crossover is good, you know, it's content, so like on its face, it's good for the game to get more impact, get more players, stuff like that. But I don't really think sci-fi shooter really goes with For Honor super well, necessarily. Examples of games, like, you could have plenty of other crossovers with For Honor. I feel like games that would go really, really well with it are games that use kind of more melee style weapons, and have more of like a medieval fantasy feel kind of thing, like even a gothic feel. So like, for example, games that have all those checkboxes, Soulsborne's games. So all the Dark Souls games, Elden Ring, even Sekiro, like imagine a Sekiro skin for the samurai faction, like Kyoshin gets to be like the main guy you play as in Sekiro. That would be kind of sick. God of War could be another one, like you could do a God of War Raider or something. That could be kind of sick. But even like as an extension of that, you don't have to necessarily be like Fortnite with these collabs. You don't have to just port over, you know, the actual characters as skins and stuff into For Honor. It doesn't have to be that way. It's definitely, you know, effective for a lot of the fans. But not every event, not every crossover has to be like that. You could just go with customization that kind of alludes to those other games. So like, for example, with God of War, instead of, you know, spinning your circle and bringing Kratos in like it's Doctor Strange using his portals, instead of doing that, you could have, you know, the actual axe from God of War. Like, you could port over the weapons by themselves. That could be kind of cool. And then maybe give, you know, if this was for Raider as a hero skin, you could give him like an overall like ashen texture, like make his face like more ashy white, that kind of thing, like kind of how Kratos is without bringing in Kratos. And then give different like red accents, like Kratos's tattoos. Like, I feel like there's ways to execute these kind of crossovers that would benefit and excite even more of a majority of the community than the way that this Destiny event and like other events have done, because a lot of the events that they've done have kind of been polarizing, where there's half of the player base that's like, oh yeah, this is really cool, and then the other half that's like, so like there's not a lot of middle ground with this kind of thing, where people are just like, yeah, this is cool, we're just gonna play this a bunch and whatever, and we're not gonna play regular Dominion after 2 days, you know. But yeah, overall, I don't know, we're getting to the end of the video here. I'm not normally someone who rants a lot, so this is definitely like outside of my wheelhouse, but like I've been thinking about this ever since they announced this like a week ago or something. But I did want to say my piece, you know, for everybody here. I do hope that you enjoyed the video. This is obviously, you know, again, something a little different. I don't typically do rants. I try to, you know, I try to stay as positive as I can with this game, but I want to make sure that we're not just blindly playing things. We're not just blindly accepting things. We have to voice our opinions when we have them, especially when they're kind of backed up by, you know, real thought. And I really hope in the future, you know, obviously, again, Ubisoft as a company is not doing too hot right now, and I get that they want to do whatever they can to make money. So, like, in that respect, you know, I see why they may have, you know, told the For Honor devs to do this, or the For Honor devs did it themselves. Who fucking knows at this point? But I get it. It still doesn't make it necessarily right or good, though. And we can only hope in the future that we get some more higher quality events and higher quality changes and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's going to be up to them. I'm only one person. I cannot control what Ubisoft or the For Honor devs do. But yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, drop a sub, leave a comment so I can read them and, you know, show them to my dog. I'm sure she'll get a bark out of it. Get it, bark. But yeah, until then, stay turtly, stay awesome, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.